So I'm joined by Mark Ogden for some Manchester United transfer rumour raters. We're going to do the ins and we're going to do the outs. We're going to start with the ins, and the first one that's mentioned, Mr. Ogden, is Jack Grealish. What do you think about that one?
Well, Jack Grealish is a player that United like and they've watched. He's obviously had a great season at Aston Villa in the first season back in the Premier League. And if Villa get relegated, if we play football again this season, then Grealish will probably be on his way. Now, United are also looking at James Maddison, and I don't think it'll be a case of both. I think it's Maddison or Grealish. And obviously there's an interest in Jadon Sancho. So all these players aren't going to sign at Man United this summer, but Grealish is a player that they like, and he's certainly on a list. He may not be the top target, but if the top target goes somewhere else, then Grealish is certainly on the list.
You've seen a lot of Grealish. You've seen a lot of Maddison. Last season, this season, whatever season it was, when you last watched football, if you could only have a pick of one of those, who do you think is better going forward?
They're two very different players. They're both very good attacking players, but Grealish is a dribbler. He holds out the ball a bit longer, but he can create moments of magic. Maddison, for me, moves the ball much quicker. And if in that final third of the pitch, Man United traditionally are a team that will zip the ball around and create openings. So I think Grealish is a better player, but I think Maddison is better suited to Man United the way they play.
Another player that's been linked with Manchester United is Saul Niguez. What do you think about him?
Well, they were linked with Saul last season when it looked like he was going to leave Atletico Madrid. He's a proven midfielder in the Champions League, La Liga. He can play in a defensive role, can score goals. Saul would be a great addition. He's a player that they like, but again, that they have many targets. But I think if they sign Saul this summer, alongside McTominay and Matthijs would probably stay, I think he'd be a great addition. I think if United got Saul Niguez, it would be a fantastic signing.
You mentioned the King of Scotland, Scott McTominay, although Billy Gilmour he's the prince right now. Is McTominay going forward Manchester United's main choice in there? Because that leads us to our next one, N'Golo Kante, who plays in a similar position.
Yeah, I think N'Golo Kante is probably a fantasy signing for Man United. I think, they had the chance 3 or 4 years ago when he left Leicester and Chelsea had already done the deal way before then. And I think it'd be so hard to get him out of Chelsea. Chelsea aren't going to sell Kante to Man United. But McTominay, when he burst out the scene under Jose Mourinho, he looked like he was basically called a poor man's Darren Fletcher, which I think is unfair. I think Darren Fletcher was a great player. I think McTominay potentially is growing into a commanding midfielder. He needs better players around him, but I think long-term McTominay could be a real find for Man United.
We saw with Paul Pogba, United aren't frightened to splash the cash. Whether or not that's going to change once we get out of the situation we're in remains to be seen, which leads us to Joao Felix, who's been linked with United but would not come cheap.
Yeah, I think Joao Felix is one that can go in the fantasy box as well alongside Kante. He's a player that they looked at 12 months ago when he was leaving Benfica, but Atletico Madrid again, they beat United too. And he's only been there a year at Atletico, and I don't think they'd sell him just yet. I think Joao Felix has got a little bit more proving himself to do in Spain and Madrid.
And finally, speaking of someone who's not been at a new club for long, Matthijs Ligt at Juventus ends our ins for Manchester United's transfer rumour rater. They wouldn't get rid of him, would they?
Well, United and Barcelona and PSG were all very close to getting Ligt 12 months ago when he left Ajax, but he chose Juventus. He's had an up and down season in Turin. He's not been playing as regular as he would have hoped, and United have maintained their interest in Ligt. They think that Juventus may be willing to sell in a year's time, maybe, but the way things are at the moment with finances in Europe and the way that Juventus may need to sell, it's unlikely, but you never know, they may need to sell. So I think if that's the case, if certain circumstances conspire, United could afford and would want to get Matthijs Ligt.
So a mixed bag there from Manchester United. Potential signings as far as Mark Ogden is concerned, including a couple of fantasy ones. And as far as players potentially leaving Old Trafford is concerned, well, look elsewhere on ESPN FC and you'll find our chat about that.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.